In the previous videos, we've learned how to preprocess the text, visualize it in word clouds, and perform sentiment analysis on it. Today, we will see how to extract additional information by using unsupervised learning. We will apply hierarchical clustering, another type of clustering that allows the interactive composition and visualization of clusters. Like any other machine learning algorithm, hierarchical clustering works on numbers. We need to find a way to convert our text information to numerical data. We can have multiple approaches to solve this problem. The first approach is to count how many times each word appears in the text. This approach is called bag of words, and each document will be compared by using the frequency of the words that appear in it. A more sophisticated approach is called document embedding. This is a semantic approach that takes into account the meaning of the words by using vectors. The embeddings are representation of the data extracted using machine learning models trained on big corpus. They will embed the words in a way that words with similar meaning will be placed close together. The document vector will be an average of all the words that it contains. The documents will be compared by checking the angle between the document vectors. The smaller the angle, the more similar the documents are. This is done using the cosine distance. Now we will see how to implement this in Orange. Let's start by loading our The Guardian COVID dataset. Add the corpus widget to the canvas and double-click on it. Go to Browse Documentation Corpora and load the COVID Guardian file. For our task, we will use a selection of the data. Let's add a Select Rows widget from the Transform panel to the canvas. Double-click on it and set the condition to Section is Business. As you can see at the bottom, we will select 63 out of the 1010 rows. Let's perform the preprocessing like in previous video. Add a preprocessed text widget from the text mining panel to the canvas. Connect it to the Select Rows widget. Double-click on it. Select the Transform all the words to lowercase. Remove accents and Internet URLs. Set the tokenization to use the regular expression. In the filtering phase, remove the stop words, setting the language to English. Also remove numbers and set the regexp filters to remove the numbers and punctuation. Today we will add another filter to remove the words that are too less frequent or too much frequent. Select the document frequency, set to relative, keep 10% to 90%. OK, now the preprocessing is completed and we can set up our clustering phase. Let's try the simple approach first. Add a bag of words widget to the canvas and double-click on it. Set the term frequency to count the document frequency to IDF and the regularization to L2 Euclidean. Now let's go to the unsupervised panel. Add a distances widget to the canvas. Connect it to the bag of words, then double-click on it. The most appropriate distance metric to use is the cosine, and the distance should be computed between rows that represent our documents. Now we are ready to add hierarchical clustering widget to the canvas. Connect it to the distances widget, then double-click on it. Here you can see the hierarchical clustering visualization as a dendrogram. The documents are represented on the right side, and they are connected to each other on this tree-like structure. On the left, you can adjust some parameters of the algorithm. First of all, set the linkage to Word. It will change how the differences between clusters are computed. Next, set the annotation to the headline of our documents for a better cluster interpretation. To start, set the selection to height ratio at 75%. Adjust the zoom if needed. The selection to height ratio sets where we want to split the document's tree, and it's represented by the dashed line. Here you can find that some documents that are grouped together don't make too much sense, especially in the cluster C2. If you try to adjust the height ratio to 60%, you will increase the number of clusters from 2 to 3. And the groups of documents make much more sense. We have a cluster for UK economic news, one for global economic news, one for the effect of COVID on global growth. Let's see now the difference with a different embedding approach. Let's add a document embedding from the text mining panel to the canvas. Connect it to the preprocessed text. Double-click on it and select the English language with the mean aggregator. Add another distance widget from the unsupervised panel to the canvas. And connect it to the document embedding widget. Finally, add a hierarchical clustering widget. Connect it to the distances widget and double-click on it. Set the linkage to Word and the annotations to the headline. At 75% height ratio, you can find two big clusters. The first one is about UK news, and the second more on the economic side. If you change the height ratio to 41.5%, you will find three clusters that give you another point of view on the dataset. Now you can play and analyze the corpus news using this new tool to give an interpretation to the textual data and find hidden connections between the documents. Great work! That's all for today. Ciao!